TK will take this game to game 3. No questions asked. Move flying with vision with the haste and looking for everybody. He sees super. You gotta burst him down. 4-staff outward. And wow, look at the drag distance here. He's getting focused by everybody. He pops a BKB, but he really just can't from run. He's trying to tank everybody. He's still alive. He's still alive. And here comes ROTK with Jackie Chan. And it is a wipe on the other direction. Tongfu knows it. Tongfu, ROTK comes to the end to make everybody up because he's bounced. And TK will take it.
Welcome back to the Alienware Cup, ladies and gentlemen, brought to you by Alienware, as well as MasterCard, our beautiful sponsors for this tournament. I'm OD Beyond the Summit. This tournament, of course, organized for y'all by DPM Interactive. I do want to give a quick plug for the Alienware Cup website. It's alienwarecup.com. There are spoiler-free VODs available there. If you want the VODs, you can also head directly to youtube.com/AlienwareCup. And last, but certainly not least, Facebook, twitter.com/AlienwareCup. Support the tournament.
Like them, follow them.
Like them, follow them, make DPM very, very happy.
Yeah. No, and it's really important to go on this because this is the way that tournament organizers have to know. Like they sometimes do not pay as much attention as viewer numbers on the streams as they do at things that they can count better, like likes and follows. So you just by going there and clicking, it's like they're looking, oh, this was really good, and let's do a season 2, and let's bring Bruno to LA so he can get another 10 and nice shirts.
You'd be surprised how much they don't care about you watching this tournament.
Come on.
We want you here. So don't
we
leave.
do want you
Come
here.
back.
You're doing that for us, not for them, and then you're doing for them the other part. It's everything.
Don't you get up.
fits.
I see you.
It's perfect.
Stay seated.
Anyways.
Of course, we're heading into Game 2 of Navi versus LGD China. Waiting for the game to load. It looks like it just did. Heading into this game?
Do you still keep your prediction of 2-1 LGD China?
Not if they give away Wisp. They give away Wisp, this is a 2-0 for Navi.
First ban, spoiler alert.
Yeah, well, Merlini spoiled it, so...
So, 2-1 LGD China.
I still think they could do it.
Okay.
I think they're close.
I'm still going to 2-0 Navi. You guys, before leading into the game, still your predictions are holding up?
Yes, 2-0 Navi.
I'm going to say 2-1 Navi.
Okay.
I think
what do you think LGD is going to do different this game to try and prepare for whatever Navi?
I think they should focus a little bit more on the early game, which is hard for LGD because they have lost.
What? Early game?
Yeah, like the 15 out of like the last 20 early games, maybe even more. But LG is definitely banning some of the heroes that Navi is definitely very good at. But let's jump in the draft here and let's see exactly what they are. LG Gaming definitely have the first pick available, and they have a ton of heroes that they're very, very good at. But anything that jumps out to you that screams first pick in this situation? Darkseer is definitely one of their go-to heroes.
Darkseer's pretty good. I think Shadow Demon is good at fending off a lot of early aggression. Visage is good for your triple lane, but we didn't even see a triple lane for triple lane action. I think what they need to not do is pick Naga Siren second, especially when they already banned out the Lifestealer. Naga Siren's a situational pick, and he really needs levels as a support. One of the few supports that is like really, really dependent on it. You need one level of mirror images for scouting, for doing damage with Riptide. Riptide scales really well with levels. Net 2 to 5 seconds as you level. It's not a support like Shadow Demon, who has the same length disrupt at all levels. You can scout at level 2 with your poison. Soul Catcher still really good at level 1. I guess it's kind of like Net in terms of how it scales, but still, I think that they need a little bit more early game, as you said, and Naga really takes away from that, especially if you don't do her as a carry role. I think she's fine in the carry role, especially for certain heroes, but again, she didn't really do that much. She's forced to go treads. She nets, doesn't do any damage. She riptides once, and you have to go in melee range to do that. And the Song on the Siren doesn't do any damage. It's good positionally, but if you don't have any spells to take advantage of it, for example, Gyrocopter with a BKB, it just seemed like it lacked a lot of oomph that game.
So don't pick Naga blindly is the message that we're getting from Ben Merlini Wu. A novice thinking, or novice?
Navis?
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 Navi, as I am just losing it all here. Thinking about the first 2 pick,
I think they should do Darkseer again.
Yeah, I think Darkseer is just such an amazing hero for both teams, and I'm somewhat surprised that we don't see Darkseer opening up because they love to pick things like Darkseer, Kunkka, Spectre, a lineup that is great starting in the lane stage, give you a good late game, give you a good team fight. It is just so well balanced, but they want Visage, and it's a hero that's not too bad against the Navi playstyle. You talked about it's not amazing in lane if there's no tri-lane versus tri-lane, but it seems like aggression happens so early, so quickly that...
Right. I think
you
it's
just
a
get
pretty
soul
good pick.
assumption, and it's gonna
Right.
fire off and do.
The only problem is you need a hero in there to cause a lot of havoc. A really good hero for that is Puck. He can go in, he can jump all his AoE, he can keep heroes in place, and he can still avoid a lot of damage. That was a big problem for LGD last game. Naga Siren's way too weak. Beastmaster can, but all he has is Roar. He can't really keep anyone else in place, and you can't really go up to them because of the black hole. And they just really lacked a lot of control in the team fights. Sure, they'll get a couple kills here and there, but no one to just like run in there and just do everything. And I think that Puck really works well for Na'Vi, and because they don't have that sort of hero and they usually don't draft for it, then Visage is forced to go up the front. We just saw the supports of LGD just melt last game, and I guess someone was talking about it the other day. I think Bruno with the football reference. You really need like a sort of line in front, or just like a hero to tank a lot of spells. That hero was Havost for Na'Vi, as well as Dendi on the Puck and the Alchemist. They can just run in. Alchemist has a ton of HP, he has a ton of armor with the build that he went, he has Shadow Blade, he has Wisp Overcharge, he can just run in and just do his thing, and then LGD's kind of has to react. They can't just let him just kill a hero, and because of that, they have to clump. Their team fight positioning is a little bit awkward. They have a lot of single target, as opposed to Black Hole, all AoE, Unstable Concoction AoE, Darkseer spells, and I feel like, sure, they drafted a little bit more for early game, but they still lack the appropriate draft to deal with this constant early skirmishes.
Yeah, LG is thinking very hard for a second pickup, and they actually settle on Dragonite. I'm not sure exactly why, but they ban out the Puck. I think when you pick up LGD, I do believe DK is, or LG China uses DK better than any other Chinese team, because they're the one team that looks actively, aggressively to pressure multiple lanes at the same time. So when you rotate away from the mid lane, that's where DK shines best, right? If you rotate one away, you lose a tier 1. Similarly, if you need to help out your other lanes, they're very good at rotating DK to the other lanes. You win a team fight with your Dragon Tail at long range, and then you just push down tower basically for free. So I really think that LGD uses DKs quite nicely, but to me, this particular pick says, oh shit, I don't know what to pick. Like, we just used a ton of time, and Darkseer and Chen's kind of a hard bullet to bite. Let's just pick up hero that we know we could play well, and we know exactly how to run him. It's like a vanilla pick, you know, just kind of throw him there. But using your second pick to pick up a DK,
Yeah,
I'm not too excited.
I'm not sold
about
on it either.
Yeah.
And it doesn't really go with the don't lose early game and just let Na'Vi control the early tempo. I think he's an okay hero at counting aggression, but the problem is his lane presence is just so extremely weak versus a really good mid hero, which is what Na'Vi usually picks for Dendi. They like to pick the Puck, already banned out. Storm Spirit and Queen of Pain, both very, very good versus Dragonite. And Na'Vi is a team to try and smoke gank a lot early, especially with this Chen pickup, and I don't see LGD trying to rotate a lot. They tried to rotate last game, but only after their tower was down, and Dragonite, I think, may have a very difficult time in the mid lane this game.
Yeah, as we run through the ban phase of Spectre, Lone Druid, and of course Puck and Gyro on the other side, Bruno and LD getting very excited to slam on this Dragonite pick as well, so go ahead, guys.
You know what? Dragonite, strong pick in mid or weak pick in mid? I say that a lot. Weak pick, right?
There's a Queen of Pain in the pool.
You know what?
I'm just
well, you know
saying.
what is also in the pool? I mean, if you're going to punish a pick so weak, you can get away with so much. Hi, stream. I don't know why you're watching at me, but
Are you going to suggest a Space Cow?
Space Cow.
Space
no.
Cow.
Although it could work.
So what else then, Bruno?
Pudge.
Against Dragonite?
Yeah, why not?
Dragonite beats Pudge.
No, Dragonite doesn't beat Pudge.
Yes, he does.
No, he
Yes, he does.
doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Nothing
He beats
that-
Pudge so
he beats
badly. What are you
nothing.
talking about?
No, it's fine. You can get Dendi. It's pure damage, so your armor does nothing.
Okay,
The
okay.
magic damage from the rod.
If he hook you, you just stun him and run.
And hit him.
Yeah.
And then Flame Breath him. Then he's at quarter
if
HP.
nothing happens, he just flame breaths and pushes
it's
the hell out of you.
fine. It's going to be fine. I mean, you're going to get farm as Pudge.
There is a Chen.
It's a farm race. There's a Chen. You can get the hook shot, send him to base. It's not about killing the Dragonite. It's about getting the levels that Pudge normally doesn't
Right,
get,
and then
because
what?
everyone zones Pudge out.
And then he rotates off the lane, so Dragonite could push your tier 1 because he's Dragonite. I think that's, you know what, how to lose a game against the Dragonites to pick Pudge. Bruno, thank you for your suggestion, but I will respectfully decline. Ben, what you got for us?
I think that Nixus has a very good pick for LGD. I would actually prefer them to pick it second because it's more flexible of a hero. You can roam with him, you can do triple lane support, and you can also solo mid with him, which is pretty good, especially when you consider that Na'Vi they don't have their pick in middle. So it kind of dissuades the Queen of Pain pick, dissuades a Storm pick, and they can try and sneak in a Dragon Knight last, because I rarely see anybody ban DK just because he's decent hero, but he's not ban worthy by any means.
He definitely is.
Your team's just like super badass with DK, but that's not going to happen because it's not that great of a mid hero. So I would have preferred the Nyx Assassin second, just to open up their lineup a little bit more. Dragon Knight is just kind of just shut down a mid. You can't put him anywhere else, and he doesn't particularly shine in any other role. He doesn't shine in mid either, but I think it really limits their playstyle, pigeonholes them into a sort of strategy that they don't really want to run, and you don't want to give away what your strategy is with your second pick.
Right.
Right.
With the same thing, let's actually go back to what you talked about, Visage. Very powerful hero. Requires some hero to send in front line and tank up. Now you have two. Dragon Knight definitely your front line, kind of your big tank. Nyx Assassin could kind of go in and out with things as range stun with the spike carapace. Is that enough American football front lineman for the Visage to actually shoot his nukes?
It's decent, but they still like AoE. I'm a really big proponent of AoE, and sure, they have like Nyx Assassin Impale Stun and like the tiny area of bats, but compare that to Vacuum, which is a huge radius, and then they have the Wall too. I think the Darkseer is just much better overall of a pick, although Nyx Assassin does fare pretty well versus Darkseer.
Okay, well.
It's okay. It's a decent front line.
Not bad.
It's like not top tier picks.
Not your top tier front lineman.
Yeah.
I wish I knew some mediocre American football front lineman to kind of toss one up there. But Navi's definitely running a very offensive pushing strat, as we have Beastmaster as well as Chen. Or a base lineup. It's very, very easy for them to pick up a drums and just run with it, because what is LG going to stop them? They have like Flame Breath, Weak Impale, and like Wrath.
Yeah, their anti-push is absolute garbage, but their split push is decent with Dragon Knight, with Nature's Prophet, with Visage Bats too. They're also decent at split pushing. And again, this is where Dragon Knight pick comes in. If you choose to go for a different solo mid, for example, Windrunner, let's say, good at anti-push, good at surviving ganks, good at putting a lot of pressure out on Beastmaster, just more flexible pick in general. Still scales pretty well with items. Is an early mech carrier, which pretty much forces Nature's Prophet in this situation. Again, the Dragon Knight pick I think really hurts LGD, and I have to favor Na'Vi already on this draft.
Okay, well, there's one more pick left here for LGD. No, please don't waste your ban on Tupach. As there definitely is needing a solo mid. I don't think Dendi actually play Beastmaster quite a bit. I personally haven't seen him play.
I think his worst mid hero is probably Phantom Lancer. His worst mid hero is probably Magnus. Second one is probably Beastmaster, and then everything else is like pretty darn good.
What is Na'Vi trying to accomplish here? Like the
other spirit cow, blue, ugly.
Okay.
I don't really know what they want to do with the strategy either. I guess they kind of want to bait LGD into a aggressive triple lane, perhaps. I'm not exactly sure. We'll have to see what LGD picks last. They banned Windrunner. See, Windrunner. It would be such a good pick for them. But again, Nature's Prophet is not going to do anything versus their triple lane. Sure, it can be annoying.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, Lycanthrope.
Oh,
so
wow.
Semi-push versus semi-push strategy?
Sometimes the best defense against a push is a stronger push of your own.
Okay, so Xiao 8 is picking Nature's Prophet. Lycanthrope is Sylar. Yao is on the Dragon Knight. What are they going to do for the lanes?
All I know is trialing Dragon Knight? Is that a thing?
I mean, that would be cool. I think it's decent, but I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it work out. There's so many better options for safe lane stunner.
I haven't seen offensive trialing Dragon Knight since like a long time ago when you ran like Dragon Knight plus Ancient Aberration.
Oh no, he's solo mid. He is solo mid.
Are they swapping it back?
Okay, I'll introduce LGD China. And let's see, Xiao 8, Director 8 on the Nature's Prophet. Looks like he is already scouting out with his dudes, his little tree dudes. Think he's going to be solo off lane. We see Sylar on the Lycanthrope. Looks like he's going to be the safe lane farmer. Both of them starting off with an early Ring of Protection. So I guess that's more of a split push thing because you usually only get one Ring of Protection if you want a 5-man push. And then we see DD and DDC on Nyx Assassin and Visage. Both of them supporting Sylar in the safe lane.
Although that said, the new patch changed the stacking of the ore base item, right? Now your Bezo now stack with Vlad's, or did it always stack?
Bazzi does not stack with Vlad's. I think it's only AC that stacks with Vlad's,
and that's it.
AC stacks with Basilius too, I think.
Okay, but the two is still considered quote unquote the same aura, right? So
right. I think Basilius, Vlad's, and Aquila are the same.
Okay. Thank you for that confirmation. Meanwhile, here
I'm not sure. Ask Bruno.
I don't want to take a bet.
I mean, I want you to take a bet. Please check with Bruno, Lumi. Wink, wink.
I'll check with
Double or nothing, man.
I'll check with Play though. Navi's gonna be going into their own defensive jungle. A ton of wards being dropped down already. Chen's gonna be having a grand old time having a safe lane jungle being played by Puppy. Obviously, Havo's gonna be on the Phantom Lancer. Kuroki's gonna be playing Rubik. We have Funnick playing Darkseer so far in the jungle. And last but not least, gonna be Beastmaster solo mid being played by Dandy. I just personally do not like his kind of melee solo mid. Like you talked about the Magnus, we see the Beastmaster now. Remember Dragon Knight back in TI2 final. These heroes are just not kind of playmaking.
They're just not Dandy heroes.
Yeah, they're
it's
really
as simple
aren't.
as that.
Yeah.
Not to say that he's really bad with them, but his other ones are just so much better.
Yeah.
And let's see. Xiao 8 has already scouted out the top lane. He scouted out very early with the treants, feeding a little bit of gold to them, but the most important information that he got has already been gotten, and that is that Puppy and Kuroki are top, and they actually scouted out Funnick too. So the bottom lane knows that they're just free to do whatever they do, even though DD is actually sitting here for no particularly good reason, because they already saw Funnick top, and they could be stacking a little bit more. I still don't know why he's standing there. And Siler actually picked up an early illusion rune. It looks like it's going to be a farm fest, but I must say that it favors, I think, LGD early, just because they can put a lot of pressure on the map. Phantom Lancer just awful at counter pushing. I mean, he can spam Spirit Lance now and then, but until you get like a lot of items that can really build up a PL army, I think that LGD will be able to put out a lot of pressure in between the timing of PO getting free farm in lane and in between him actually being a threat in the team fights.
I definitely think it favors LG China, considering that you're safe lane farming a Lycanthrope. Lycan is one of the most dangerous hero if you give him like a 6-minute Vlads, because your tier 1 towers all over the map is going to be going down. No questions asked. And Sylar having absolute free farm and ironically not leading in terms of the CS for his team. Oh, actually, he's 9-2 right now. Dragon Knight falling a little bit behind, kind of even and so with the Beastmaster, but the biggest farmer is Darkseer in the jungle, stacking and is about to earn a ton of gold here.
Another thing you have to consider for this early game is that Na'Vi has 3 heroes in the jungle, including a Chen and a Darkseer who can clear camps relatively fast early in the game for the first few minutes, and LGD only have 2. So that hurts Na'Vi a lot more in terms of experience, and again, I think that LGD will come out ahead in this early game, especially with Nature's Prophet actually being able to stay in the lane. I thought that they could zone him out, but it looks like Kuroki has resorted to stacking for the most part. I'm not exactly sure if they could kill him. They would probably need some way to interrupt the teleport. But still, Styler getting free or getting some sort of level and farm and being able to somewhat contest these pools is pretty good for LGD.
Yeah, but he's not going to have a big impact until much later, unless the Radiant start taking some towers on the bot lane. That's definitely going to help out his goal intake. Sylar still last-sitting away here. Basalis already picked up, turning the armor off for now, but if they really want to get a tower push on, they can. But they gotta be worried about the rotation coming out from Na'Vi. Funnick's still busy with this particular camp, and I guess this is a fairly good time to go for it here, as the ring is turned on, the wolves are being summoned. Do we have impulse?
If they had delayed the wave just a little bit more, I think that DD came in a little bit early to auto-attack the wave. The creep wave was right here. If they had it right here, they would have had like 3 or 4 melee creeps, and the tower would have gone down a lot faster. But I expect to see some wolf micro to drag the creeps back over here. But it looks like Puppy's already there to try and stop the push a little bit. I'm surprised no Lycan wolf micro there. We see that a lot of times from Furions, from Enigmas, who try and accelerate the T1 push. But good placement of the Wild Wing Ripper, and I like that he already rotated. They used Glyph, and the tower's down to 900 HP, but really preventing that 3-minute T1 and the 5-minute T2 is a real big deal.
Yeah, also Funnick was too busy kind of to make that rotation himself. Generally, you see the Darkseer doing that. He can't do it because he was busy with that particular big stack camp. So very, very keen play here by Dent or by Puppy to make that rotation. Back in the top lane here, Xiao still at level 2, should be hitting 3 relatively soon. I do believe that Sprout is kind of skipped to much later now. That's definitely the standard build. And then take things like Sprout and teleportation. We'll see particularly what build that he goes for. But back in the mid lane, how are we doing here? Beastmaster as well as Yao's Dragon Knight kind of... In fact, I'm very surprised that Yao's falling behind. Yeah, top lane here, he's trying to TP out.
So
he makes
close.
It back home barely.
Whew, those GG branches saving lives. Oh my goodness.
That bring in protection, saving lives as well. +2 armor.
So we see the XP grab already starting to go pretty heavily in favor of Na'Vi. Actually, 1,500 XP and 1,000 gold, even though there's no towers and no kills. So Na'Vi is actually doing a much better job of abusing the map, and I think a lot of it has to do with Funnick. He is level 5.5. 4.5 minutes in with Boots Bottle, and now that he has TP Scroll, he will be able to take down this push bottom. So it's a really good rotation by Na'Vi. They try and delay the push with this really weak Chen, which is just level 1 creep, able to stop the first push. They use a glyph, and then now that Funnick is highly leveled, he can defend against the push himself.
Yeah, in fact, that one iron creep is just kind of completely shutting down this entire push, and LGD not getting too much out of it. They're going to try to burst that particular creep down. They do get it. They're probably going to try it one more wave, but they got to be careful because Dandy already level 6, does not have a teleport screw just yet. We'll be making the rotation soon. And look at how
Puppy is behind tower in middle.
Look at how Puppy's been playing. He's been defending bot, helping out mid, just pressuring everywhere, now forcing Yao completely off the lane. He's going to be trying to search for a rune. No, is he just flat out making a rotation for that tier 1 push on the bot lane? That's pretty bold.
That is pretty bold indeed. But now the wave is already pushed out on bottom, and the supports on the side of LGD are forced to resort to pull. And it's going to be nighttime soon, and you really have to be careful when your supports aren't even close to level 6 and the mid hero is level 6, especially Beastmaster. That's pretty much a guaranteed first blood if you try and push during nighttime without vision with weak supports as 3-man. So that tower won't be going down on bottom, and this is a really big deal when you're playing versus Lycanthrope. If you can't get that early lead, the early 6-minute free farm, and Vlad's that you talked about earlier, Lumi, it really just doesn't make Lycanthrope as effective as a pick.
Man, Yao is just losing this mid lane badly. Every time I see him check on the top lane, he's getting completely outpushed, and he's losing at least 1 or 2 creeps to the particular tower, and of course he's missing a couple lasses on their tower as well. And I gotta say, if you look at Beastmaster's build, you gotta credit the level 2 aura. It's so helpful to push that lane in conjunction with Wild Access. It helps you to trade harassment quite a bit as well, as it gives your creep waves a little bit more attack speed. Let's see if they're going to get that kill. Sprout's going to actually open it up here. No, Sprout's going to actually threaten the backstab, and they do actually pick up the first blood. Looks like we do have a little bit of perfect world server delay again. And here comes that tier 1 tower push I talked about. You get kills, you go for the tower push. Unfortunately, Centaur coming in. Again, Puppy playing so well with the movement of his particular hero as well as his creeps. I don't think they'll end up getting the tier 1, but they'll definitely do some damage to it.
And Beastmaster has a couple things I think I'll find a little bit strange with it. Firstly, is level 2 Inner Beast. Sure, is good, but you only get 8% for level 1 and level 2, and 18% for level 1. I think the Call Wild is much better, even though it's only level 1. You can just put it up the hill, sacrifice it for some gold. They have no vision up here, and that really just secured the first blood. When he has to farm down here in the river, just gets melee stunned, and the supports come from the top of the hill. That hurts him very badly. Also, he goes for point booster first. I think early game, the skirmishes are too few and far in between to actually utilize the really low cooldown of Roar. It goes down from 80 seconds to 45, but usually the team fights way over in 45 seconds, usually over in like 20, I'd say. The longer the game is, the more drawn out the team fights are, and then you can really utilize the cooldown of the primary Roar. It is good HP, but it didn't save him there. I personally would have preferred perhaps Arcane or Treads.
We do see the rotation coming in right here against Funnick. Funnick trying to search it out. The Impel is going to hit. The slow is going to apply right now, and everybody already in position. Or will it? Where's the Grave Chill? They're going to open up here with the ultimate. Soul Assumption is going to hit as well, but he's going to survive. That was one of the latest Grave Chill, but Sylar with the big bad wolf form going to chase him down for the kill. Nobody on the outside of LGD dies, and because there's already finished Vlads on Sylar, they can easily maul down all these creeps and now work on that tier 1 tower. So this is a very concentrated push. You do see now Dandy rotating, perhaps trying to help on the bot lane, and that's Q for Yao to go starting to do the mid. And this is why I personally like solo mid Dragon Knight. It's so effective in terms of playing with your team to push multiple towers. Dandy makes a rotation on the bot lane. He's a little bit slow to the party, doesn't even get the defense on the tower, and suddenly Yao, you can see that he's aggressively flame breeding on the mid lane, pushing that wave as well. Doesn't actually get to the tower. Again, good rotation by Puppy, but they're definitely kind of nailing themselves back in the game. 2-0, they're getting the kills. Experience is now slowly going up, as well as the goal chart now in their favor for LGD China.
You always have to consider the free farming PL. We have not talked about him in the first 9 minutes, but now here he is, sitting with Brown Boots, Midas, Basilius, 900 gold, and I'm curious to see what he's going to go for. Looks like Tranquil Boost next, but I mean, he's free farming away at top lane, and they can almost do nothing at this early game to stop him. Sure, they can try and push T1s and force a rotation, but PL's not going to rotate this early, especially not for a T1.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely going to say, hey, man, if you're going to push our T1, I'm going to try to get some damage on your T1 and then work on it later himself. So I think LGD, despite playing well and with the recovery right now, they need to play better. They have a clock in their head. And sure, you know, heroes like Nature's Prophet could go fairly late. You definitely do not want to take a late game against Havos's PL. It's just a losing situation.
And looking at LGD's versus Na'Vi late game matchup, how does a stacked PL match up versus a stacked Lycanthrope? If you have a gem, if you have a Necro book on Lycanthrope, I think that you can actually take out the PL very fast.
Yes.
And Spirit Lance and Diffusal Blade are almost useless against Lycanthrope. You're not going to waste it on a Wolf Summon. The slow does nothing to him because he's hasted during Wolf form. So I think that he's the only hero in particular that deals decently with it. But again, Lycanthrope has no AoE. And he won't be able to clear it, and I've never seen a Lycanthrope get a Battle Fury. Dragon Knight is decent at... Oh, we see him roar in the middle.
Yeah, the roar's going to come on the mid lane. Sun's going to come in as well. Here comes DD trying to go nuke on Funnick. Yao's going to be fine. He drops the Sun and a Flame Breath as well, and they just pick off Funnick very easily, and the chase now goes the other way. They're going to try to focus on Kuroki. Any stun coming out from Yao. There's a Dragon Tail. There's a nuke from DDC, and that's exactly what we saw. You need those frontline tanks to survive the initiation so that DDC is going to drop all the powerful nukes. And that's exactly what we saw.
He was at like
here.
35% before he was out of the stun lock. And again, I really think it has a lot to do with his ward.
Yeah.
They can see the vision up the hill. They can see how many Na'Vi are bringing, and they can react very, very fast. As soon as they see him come over here in this area, they can TP in and be a couple of seconds earlier on the reaction time, and that is a very big deal, especially when trying to save your most farmed and most experienced hero. But again, Yao is not the most farmed DK. He's only at 50 last hits, so about 20 to 30 behind the one position on either team. He does do decently against the PL illusions, but again, DK has been known to have quite a bit of mana issues, and I think that the PL with Diffusal and drums will hurt him a lot. I'm curious to see whether Havos is going to go for the drums or not. He actually went for treads. I guess he's actually going to go for a Vlad's with his Ring of Protection, or Ring of Regen.
I mean, Vlad's is definitely one of Havos' favorite items to go for on the carry heroes. We definitely see him go Vlad's Vanguard in the past on things like Anti-Mage, and if he wants to go Vlad's right now to help the aura-based push of his team, right, with the Chen creeps with the Beastmaster, it's not a bad choice, but he has such a good farm that I don't see any reason for him to not just go kind of ultra late game.
I agree with you. I think that a Diffusal, maybe a Tranquils would be nice, but he had a Basilius. He can't even push on a T1, so the Basilius is not really that big of an issue. And he can like Spirit Lance people, but you don't really need the mana regen. I say just gear up for the really ultra farming 15 to 35 minute build with his drums and Yasha, perhaps a Diffusal in the process. If you're forcing a lot of fights, we see DD Vendetta up top. Looks like they will go on Puppy.
Two-man smoke gank.
Easy kill.
Well, two-man invis gank as Yao had an invis in his bottle. Let's see if he's going to make it out alive here. Looks like they're going to be fine funding, not going to make that dive. And again, whenever you pressure such aggressively on the opposite side of the map, look at what Sylar and Xiao is doing. Teleport on the bot lane. And of course, they're going to be trying to pressure this with things like Vlad's. Now, good rotation coming up from Na'Vi again. That's one of the most impressive things. They're going to focus on Xiao or try their best to do so. The Surge with the Invis of Vos hits him out, and he's going to have the TP out. He's not going to make it out alive. That's going to be one kill for sure. Any stun, any lockdown against these guys. The Birds up the front line can apply some stun. Then he gets Surge. And no, Sylar not really microing well. Where's the Beastmaster War? Sun comes out here, and DDC playing so well. Now they're going to go right back. The Chain Stun coming out from Dragon Knight as well as DDC. Now the chase goes the other way. Havos is going to eat one of the wolves. DD's going to get an impale. Funnick's in big trouble. Funnick goes down. My God, Soul Assumption. Another stun goes on Puppy. Puppy's going to go down as well, or maybe Yao with his haste room. That's yet another kill. And look at the score. 8-1 in favor of LGD China as DDC is just putting his fingerprint all over this game right now.
Oh my goodness, what a turnaround there. And they only have one kill right now. This Dragon Knight stun is way better than the Roar at this point. Roar is only 3-second stun, but the cooldown is absurd. Sure, he might go for a Scepter soon, but it's not really doing anything. I myself would have preferred a Necro Book so they can apply some additional pressure around the map, but the team fight is just not working out for them. They rotated Havosin, didn't work out for them. They only got one kill on the Nature's Prophet, and he's not really the important hero right now. He's actually going for Midas himself. It's going to be a very late one at that, but they have Roshan, they have 3 towers down, and LGD China is in full control of this game.
Yeah, well, it would have been a late Midas, but because of all the kills they got, all the Cisco, tower kills, and of course Roshan, he's got it right now, and a little bit of gold to boot. But yeah, I just want to go back to your point of the Lycanthrope versus PL matchup. The way that Lycan plays is very different in fact, completely opposite of how PL likes to play. PL likes to backstab. He likes to send illusions in. He doesn't actually send his hero in to fight in the front line. Lycanthrope is a different beast. He goes right at you with the things like wolves and whatnot, and it's very hard for PL to actually defend and fight against a Lycan. And that's why I think he's actually forced to go into this semi-early game build of a Vlad's.
I think drums would work.
Drums will work quite well as well. It gives you early game HP. Again, I'm not sure whether they're building the Vlads because of the aura lineup that they have. But also back to your point of the Necro book. Generally, I'm personally I like the Axe Scepter quite a bit, simply because you're dealing with a couple melee heroes here. The push from the Beastmaster War is very, very effective. And of course, the Beastmaster War on long range is pretty good at shutting down Lycan. With that said, I still like Necro book. It gives you detection. It gives you D-warding. It's just so very good.
More auras, man.
More auras, mono burn against DK, like you pointed out, and just more stuff in the front line to deal with things like Lycanthrope and Nature's Prophet. But also, kind of the flip side of the argument, it's very easy for LGD to pick up a helm.
Smoke gank, here we go.